What is up, everybody? It's me, Duke Farley, back at it again here on Lost at Sea. And tonight we are talking about week 11 of Big Brother 26. Um, and before we get into it, I just want to say the final winner pick has fallen. It's a sad day on the pod, but we made it all the way to what, final seven with our winner picks? I'd say that's pretty good. Wouldn't you say that, guys?
I mean, it's really good for me. I mean, you guys were out a while ago, but yeah.
That's true. That's true. I mean, my winner pick is also in jury, so that I think there's one of us that our winner pick isn't in jury. Who was that
On a
again?
regular season, they would be though.
Yeah, but not this one. No, yeah, that was you. That was your winner pick. That's right.
And he was a complete and total dud, dude.
Yeah,
Like all talk and no action. Like terrible.
Listen, let's not talk about the stats. Let's talk about week 11 of Big Brother. We left off with, Mackenzie in the HOH room, and she had nominated Angela and Chemo. And then she goes and she wins the veto. So she wins two huge competitions here late in the game, and she kind of has an option here. We were kind of talking about it last week. I didn't think that it would be smart for her to nominate Leah. Um, but there was some real pressure for her to nominate Leah. Do you, Uncle Shane, think that this was the right move? I mean, we've seen a lot since, so I know that, results oriented, we could always go that route. But what do you think of in the moment? You think that that was the right choice?
Um, I mean, you don't want to be sitting with Leah at the end because she was really popular. Everybody liked her, and um, so I could see. I think maybe it was the right choice at the time. It's funny. She wins head of household. She wins veto. I wish she won a new outfit like that blue, like aloe outfit is like this. It's almost like T-Core in the robe. It's the same thing. And she looks good in it. I'll give her that. But it's like, come on, do we have another color?
Do you agree with that? Do you think she should change up the outfits every now and then?
I, looking at the way things shook out, I I am a bit because I do think that Leah was going to be loyal to Mackenzie, and um I just think looking at it now, it is kind of tough to see a world like I think Mackenzie would have had a better chance with Leah because based on the way things have shaken out, um, I think if she would have stuck with Angela and Leah, I think Mackenzie wins over both of them personally. But you know what? I don't think she saw a path with them. I think looking at the way things have developed, I'm like, it's gonna be kind of tough for Mackenzie to win. Um, but it all depends on this next week how that shakes out, who goes and who wins power. But I do think that Leah would have taken Angela. I think Angela would have taken Leah. I don't think in any world Angela would have taken Chemo as she proclaims. Um, but I do think that looking at it as I was watching these last few episodes, I was like, oh, maybe she should have went with Leah and Angela because I think she might have been able to beat both of them. But I don't know.
Don't you think the only sure win for anyone is to be sitting there next to Cam? Like that's the only way to know that you're 100% going to win.
I think now, yeah, it's crazy that we will get to it. That anyone would not bring Cam. He hasn't done a single thing, and so it would be easy to take Cam and be like, yeah, we worked together, but called all the shots. He didn't do anything. I have these comp wins. He does it. You're voting for the best player. I'm the best out of me and Cam. I'm the better player. I think anyone now can say that.
Yeah. And we'll get into people's preferences because I think a couple preferences were revealed to us in the last episode, which is interesting.
I mean,
But
dude, what do you think about the move to get rid of Leah?
I hated it. I thought it was terrible. I thought
Yeah,
she should have kept her because that was a person that would have went after. Chelsea, but I don't think people realize how good Chelsea's playing. And I think it's going
Yeah,
to be a shock for a lot of people when she's in the finale, what she says. But
yeah, and I agree with that one. And I don't think people are seeing how Chelsea's playing because even when people do kind of expose her game a little bit, she knows exactly what to say to cover it back up. And yeah, if I'm like after last episode and after we got off the pod, I was like, okay, I could see uh, a world where Mackenzie, Cam, and Chelsea go, and that makes sense, and it makes sense to go after you know Leah and Angela. But after watching the few episodes, I was like, oh wait, I think Leah 100% would have kept Mackenzie safe, and I think that now she's stuck between two duos because Cam's not going to take Mackenzie. Chemo or Rubina wouldn't take Mackenzie. Chelsea might, but I mean, if Chelsea's smart, she's not going to take Mackenzie. Even though she's saying it, it's like I don't think there's any world where somebody takes Mackenzie to the end.
yeah, we'll see. What did you guys thinking of speaking of regret? What did you think of Chelsea, Rubina, and Chemo out at the pool table, kind of talking about getting rid of Leah, and Leah's right upstairs, like kind of can hear everything. Not
Brutal.
smooth.
No, it's sloppy. It's like, and it's from players that should know better. You're down to the wire there. But I get it. Like sometimes it's like, you know, you forget. Like also later on, Chelsea makes a mistake.
Yeah.
It's like and just has a slip. I think it's tough. I think it's you're exhausted. You're in the house. That's all you're talking about. And then you go to have that conversation, and she's taking a little snooze upstairs, and it's like awkward.
Yeah, that's a tough thing to navigate too, because like you have to in that situation after that they have to still be roommates. Like it's such that's the fun thing about Big Brother is that they do get so close and they all like really know each other because all you're doing is getting to know these people over the course of a summer, and then you're talking about like people cutting people out of their dream and then having to be like, all right, who wants dinner? Like that's
Yeah.
tough. And
Yeah. Yeah.
so it I do think that was just like a forgetful thing that Leah's up there, they didn't realize it, but it's like, dude, just double check. Damn.
I love how they kind of tried to figure out if she could hear them by going back up there with the
made, made it
pool
look
stick.
way worse. Drop the pool stick, dude. Like it.
Dude, but have you ever been in that situation? I have, where I've said something in my office and then I'm like, wait a minute, did that knucklehead out there hear it? And then like, let me just check the acoustics.
Now you say I'm a fucking idiot from over there. Hold on. Let me see if I can.
So yeah, Leah was kind of tipped off. She definitely heard it and was concerned, as she should have been. Once Leah is Mackenzie obviously takes chemo off the block, renoms Leah. Once Leah hit the block, do you think there was anything she could have done to save herself, or was she just dead man walking at that point?
I. It's tough. I think Leah has never been good at game talk.
Yeah,
She's likable, she's funny, she's attractive, and that benefited her, especially with some players like Joseph uh and Quinn. But it's tough.
stash.
I mean, the stash, and that works because that's that's an easy thing to control. But when it was talking about game, it seemed like she knew what was going on. It was tough for me as a viewer, and maybe there were more on the live feeds. It was tough for her to relay what she brings to someone, in the moment. And then, of course, when she gets up there, she's like, "What are you doing? I would never do that." Well, you need to relate. You need to always be checking in on your alliances. You need to always be checking in on your relationships. You can't assume that you're good, no matter how far you get. And I don't think Leah did a very good job, especially with Mackenzie, because they had never solidified anything. And Leah says it. She's like, you know what? I never really solidified anything. I played, an honest game. Like, you can't do that. The idea that you can play an honest game is gone in Big Brother. And the idea that you're going to win an honest game, stop. Check that at the door. And I think Leah, other than Angela, which she did have a final two with, you need to, especially the person in power, no matter how safe, you can't just assume that your relationship with them is going to be good enough, because guess what? Well, you're assuming that Mackenzie's making a final three with Chelsie and Cam, everybody's relationships are getting better while you're just like, oh, well, we're cool. So that's fine. You need to promise safety. You need to give them something to reassure them that you got it. I benefit you. You would be bad. It's a bad decision for you to let me leave. And I don't think Leo was a very good proponent of like reaffirming those relationships. And I think that's why she's out.
It's always like, I think you're exactly right. It's always like the last conversation before something happens works. And I think that that's worked in Angela's case for so long, is that somehow she walks up crying right before something major happens and weasels her way in.
Yeah. And I think that it's worked for Angela. And I think the difference between Angela and Leah, Angela was so, there were times where Angela was completely right. Like she had read, I mean, a lot of it was built out of paranoia, but there were a lot of times she was right. She read the room right. And even if she didn't, even if it wasn't right, she was so convincing. And she got people at the right moment, right before they're about to make a major decision, just to put a little bit of paranoia in there. And, the Big Brother house, you plant a little seed at the perfect time, it can blow everything up. And Angela's done that multiple times. She made herself such a huge target, such an unlikable target, that it's like, why would I get rid of this person? They're not gonna, people are gonna be going after her. She's a perpetual pawn. She can always go up. There's always an excuse. With Leah, it's like, you did play a good social game, but you just didn't reaffirm your relationships. And that, just because you are cool with somebody in the house doesn't mean that you're working together. And there were multiple times where people would be like asking Leah, what do you think? What's your take on the game? She'd be like, I don't know. It's like, okay, well, I can't get anything out of you, or you're not promising me anything. So what value do you give to me? So I do get why, but I think looking back, she would have been like, yeah, no, I would have kept Mackenzie, but she doesn't know that. So I think that's where Leah kind of faulted.
100%. Leah leaves in a 4-0 vote. And this is the double eviction episode, guys. So we're getting two people leaving. And this next HOH, it comes down to a tiebreaker between Chelsie and Angela. And had, the math worked out, I mean, Chelsie gets it just because Angela goes way over the tiebreaker. But how bad were you guys rooting for Angela here?
I was, and I was confused because did Julie say you're not allowed to go over? I
I think
didn't.
that's how that every tiebreaker is. If you go over, it's automatically whoever is closest without going over.
Okay.
Like
I feel
that's
like
the
you
right.
say that. Like I feel like it needs to be said. But dude, before we get to that, what did we think of Leah's reaction to seeing Quinn again? That seemed very like fired up.
Do you guys think this is real?
I mean, I didn't until she reacted like she was about to go to Pound Town.
I I also was like, oh, were we all wrong? Were we all wrong? I mean, she's really excited to see Gwen, and it's like, I mean, yeah, okay,
Yeah.
sure.
We gotta get some videos in the jury house. Come on.
That's coming up, man. It's coming up.
Um, Interested to see that. But yeah, you guys were definitely rooting for Angela, right? You wanted to see her clutch this because she was pretty much toast.
Yeah.
Honestly, there was, as much as I have not liked Angela's season, the fact that she was coming back, I was like, this would be fun. This would be such a fun double eviction. The amount of chaos. And I was just like, I wanted to see, like, what would she do? Would I think she'd go after Chelsie, but like, I like Chelsie as a player, but like, I wanted that chaos. Because Angela in a high pressure situation is never great, but like her calling the shots in that situation, oh my God.
I mean, clearly she would have protected Chemo. We found out later what Chemo meant to her, which was fascinating in the way that was delivered.
That was crazy to watch that. So she loses the tiebreaker to Chelsie. kind of a no-brainer for Chelsea nominating Chemo and Angela. Told them both that they were going to be pawns. Um, which I guess at that point one of them's going to leave, so who cares?
Yeah.
Um, and then Chemo wins the veto. Chelsea renoms Rubina, and we see the end of our queen. Angela's gone. How sad.
Yeah,
It's so hard.
it was that her reaction at the end, and her speech, like she just won an Oscar, like when she goes out on stage. And it's funny to me because it's like, she's going to go into a jury house. So she's got a few weeks or whatever it is to just kind of live there and still think about herself as this survivor who's learned about herself. But what she hasn't learned is that America realizes that she's a racist bully. And like, and what the reaction is to her, I think is going to be a little shocking when she goes to wherever it is that she lives.
Yeah, I, that's going to be the best part about this. And I don't think I've ever wanted to know, wanted the realization of a house guest more of like, I want to know how she reacts to how she was perceived. And I've never wanted to see that. Like when she goes home and they were like, what the fuck was that? Like, what, like I mean, arguably Angela played well. She made it really far.
Yeah.
She did. I will give her those props. Grant, I know you're watching. I'm giving her props. But just like as a person, and I know Big Brother, it changes you. It's a pressure cooker of a situation. Just the way she acted all season. A majority of people can't be like, oh, okay, that's a normal woman. She seems like a very like calm, cool, somebody I'd like to hang out with. No, she's the worst, like the worst. But it made for such good TV, and Angela was such a just firecracker. And I hated every second that she was on screen, and I loved every second she was on screen. And I can't wait to see her reaction to how she was perceived.
Yeah.
I can't wait for that moment. And oh,
Wait, did you guys notice though? I feel like early in the show, it said that she was 50 years old or 51 years old. And that's why I made the comment like, wow, I can't believe she's younger than me because I'm 52. But then, did I get this right? Did she jumped up and she goes, that's pretty good for a 55-year-old woman. Now,
yeah,
she said that, right? Like, and
yeah.
as far as I'm concerned, like, that this hasn't been a 5-year summer, right? Like, am I confused with
Some would
that?
say. Some would say.
I mean, I might have aged 5 years after watching her. Jeez.
But like she's full of shit. So like here I was feeling terrible about myself. As bad.
Yeah.
We were thinking maybe that Angela would walk out to some boos in the live audience. It seemed like everybody kind of loved her.
I mean, she did come out to like probably the biggest reaction of the summer. And I think people like if she got voted out week 2, like she was supposed to be voted out week 2. Like reminder, she was supposed to leave and then did it. And I think if people had saw that and then she had been voted out week 2, she's not only a bad player, she's like kind of an asshole. I don't think she would have been met with such a warm reaction. She has grown on everyone, even to the point where before she left, I was like, I don't want her to win, just to see what the fuck happens. And I think people have just accepted the fact that she's like, oh, well, yeah, she's like kind of the worst, but we all love watching her. Like,
you think that the fans maybe forgot about the crazy eyes part?
no, because they gave every chance they could to reference that. They did, and good.
But but Pat, where you said like you wish that you could watch her when she realizes how the world is perceiving her. The great thing about it with Julie being the host of Big Brother is she's a journalist, right? So she knows that the fans are all talking about the fact that she was calling people a twit and calling people crazy eyes and doing all this stuff, that she will ask that question in the finale.
Oh yeah,
Angela, because it's like, Tucker and Angela are two of the most interesting characters of the season.
Mhm.
And so she's got to talk to them,
Yeah.
So that's going to come out, and we're going to see from her reaction how she handles that.
And that is true because still, even when you're in the jury house, you're still sequestered. You don't know what's going on. So and that is going to be an unbelievable finale. I can't. I've never been more excited for a finale in my life. I just to see the old castmates that I like, and it's just I agree. It's going to be insane.
Uncle Shane, you brought up a great point. I was thinking that potentially Julie was going to start to ask her some of the hard-hitting questions in her exit interview, like when she was eliminated just this past week. But I didn't know whether it was Angela kind of just was so like energetic and could not let, Julie even ask a question before she was like screaming. Or she was waiting maybe to the finale when, the game's over to kind of ask those kind of hard-hitting ones.
Yeah, I think so. I think that Julie can't ask anything that is going to affect a jury member, like because I don't know how that would affect how a jury member would vote for in the House, but it's better just safe to save that for the
Yeah,
finale.
After the game.
because I feel like we're all in agreement. Like she was like terrible, right? I feel like she was just like she did come out to a great like she wasn't like terrible to the point of like I don't think she's gonna get fired from any job, but like just her behavior was like so weird, right? Like we all agree that.
I don't think like the way that she persisted on the crazy eyes, like I don't think crazy eyes is like that horrible of a thing.
No.
She was so persistent with it, and she was screaming it at him, and he really didn't do anything that warranted that. Like as he said, like, "Hey, listen, you vote for me, I'm going to come after you." Okay, well that's how the game works. Nobody talks about it, but
Yeah.
but he said it, and then I just watched the clip where she was like, and for the visitors who came and paid me a little visit, you know, it was
It's a
like,
bad movie.
yes, a low budget movie.
Yeah. And that's the interesting part of Angela because, every season somebody says something fucked up and either leaves or gets fired from a job. That happens almost every season. Angela is the rare case where it's like she as a person is like kind of terrible and annoying and like I would never hang out with her or want to be around her in any social situation ever. And I think she's kind of a just like but like she's never been like outwardly offensive. So it's like this fine line like she's like kind of terrible, but like not terrible like bad, but just terrible like annoying. And it's so interesting. I've never seen a cast member be so like kind of unliked but also like she's so positive and she wraps it all in like this gaslighting like this is my dream and it's like what the fuck it's crazy and I can't wait for what Julie's gonna ask. I hope she brings up like hey you're 55, what the fuck was that.
Do you know how like when they ask the final two a question, they all have their like key and they're going to put it in the thing. And it's like, I would like someone to just look at Angela and be like, hey, yeah, this isn't for them. This is for you. Or like, why are you such a biatch? Like, just like hit her with something.
and I know I can already tell on finale night she's gonna be like, well, you know what, I should have been there. I did a lot to be in here and I fought my hardest and I'm proud and I basically deserve to win. And everyone's like, no, you don't. No, you don't.
Dude, what about like when she kept screaming, and I would have taken chemo, and chemo, I would have taken your butt. And then like chemo afterwards, when it cuts to him, he's just like, oh, just go already. Like,
Yeah.
stop talking about.
And it's perfect too because they're all celebrating. They're all celebrating. That was so fun. They're all celebrating. Angela leaves, and then they're oh no, it's black and white. Yeah,
Yeah. I was gonna touch on the celebration of Angela afterwards, but we got that. Saying goodbye to the Have Not Room in this next episode. Are they just running out of stuff to fill the episode with, you think?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah, and they're like, "Hey, Chemo, why don't you do a song? Just like do it to the tune of Amazing Grace." Like,
Yeah.
did you
That
see somebody at the end of it was like, "All right, I think we can get up and leave now," and they didn't want to do it, but
yeah.
they don't have any other content. So
And that's
That
the
in addition with the chemo as a loud eater was
oh,
kind of gross. I'm not really sure why it was included, but ugh.
I was wearing the episode. I was watching on my phone. I had my headphones in, and I had to stop. I was like, I can't. This is disgusting.
um yeah, the chemo thing, it kind of sucks because they just chose him to like just hose because it wasn't like it was an equal, it was just, you're right. It was the have not room and let's do emo, chemo, that fat slob just, slobbering away on food. It's like,
Yeah, I. That's
yeah.
the crappy part about because the about Big Brother because when you start to lose players, not as much game is being talked about, and so you don't get like a lot of good stuff that we're kind of used to, especially like with like earlier in the season. And then they just kind of do these filler things, and you're like, okay, like some of it's fun, but like a majority of it's like,
Fast forward,
yeah,
no.
I was like, okay, got it. I don't need to.
Yeah.
But
But then we
how clueless are you that you eat like that and everybody's like looking at the camera and reacting and you're so out there that you're not even paying attention and you're just slobbering away on your food. It's like even when Cam calls it out.
And Kim's not aware of anything ever, so that was like he lit up when they asked him. They were like, "What do you think about chemos?" He goes, "Oh my god!" And it was like, "Whoa, that's the
Now
most."
I have something to say. I have an
Yeah,
opinion.
yeah, so chemo kind of got shafted on that. Clean that up, chemo. But besides that, we get into the HOH, and it's basically a duo of, Rubina and chemo versus Mackenzie and Cam. Seems like Mackenzie kind of ran away with this one again. Are you guys kind of sad that, Rubina and chemo are just like, we know they're not going to win. Like, they're just not even close. Like, they're gone.
yeah. It because part of me going into it, I was like, "Oh, all right, well, 3 versus 2. I kind of want to see Chemo or Rabina take power because it's like it kind of evens it out, and it's like it'd be cool to go to a Final Four 2v2 if they were like Target McKenzie, and so like Chelsea or Cam versus Rabina Chemo, and it's like okay, cool, but they just can't win. They never win, and it's like honestly, at this point in the game, you have to pull out comp wins. If you can't, you sorry, you don't deserve to win. It's like that you guys you're like it truly is like I mean T-Core wasn't like a comp piece, but they did have Tucker. And it's like, yeah, Tucker gave you guys got you all the way here. You guys really didn't pull out any clutch wins. So it sucks, but that's kind of on you.
Yeah, I mean, Chemo's only won two competitions, and it's when he was literally about to get eliminated. So, like, the one veto and then the one get off the block, and Rubina's won one of the get off the
Wow.
block things too. Battle backs, yeah. But it's kind of sad.
Yeah.
So the noms were pretty easy for Mackenzie, Rubina, and Chemo. Rubina, the only thing that I want to say is I feel like maybe Rubina hasn't been given enough credit because she made a little bit of a move to get Leah renommed when she leaked information to Mackenzie. It seemed like she was trying to do the same kind of thing with leaking information to Mackenzie about Chelsie. Um, but and it was information that was real. She was kind of throwing Mackenzie
Yeah.
under the bus, but Mackenzie is just, I think, under Chelsea's spell at this point.
That
So
I wanted to ask you guys, do you think it was the right move of Rabina to try to work Mackenzie, or do you think it would have been smarter for her to like because Mackenzie can't vote, you know, don't you think it would have been smarter for her to go after like Chelsea or Cam just to like leak information or like I know you can't go against Chemo, but it's like I mean they're not those are the two that are going to be voting, and I know the veto hadn't been hasn't been played yet, but it's like I don't I thought for some reason I was like, I don't know why Rabina would leak information to Mackenzie because Mackenzie is going to talk to Chelsea, and you might as well go after Chelsea because she's the one who's going to be voting. I mean, I guess it all depends on the veto, but I don't know.
I thought that Rubina did the exact right thing that she could have done. I
Yeah,
just think that there's no way. There's no way.
at this
Mackenzie
point,
is under Chelsea's spell at this point, I
yeah,
think.
Or leak the information, but then stick around Chelsea. I mean, stick around Mackenzie, so there's never an opportunity to go pair off with Chelsea.
yeah,
It's like, but then you're like following someone around like a lunatic.
yeah.
Or
That's an
also just full send and be like, you're not going to beat Chelsea in the end. You should get rid of her kind of thing. Like,
yeah.
which is not out of the realm of possibility. Like, you can do that. I feel like
No.
she could pull that off. But
And at some point, it's like, do you think it's going to get to the point where you got to throw a hail mary? You might as well just make something up and lie because if it's between. I know you guys are all friends, but it's like $750,000. If you want to win, make something up. Fucking throw Chelsea completely under. Not like, oh, I shouldn't say this, but man, you should be like, she's gunning for you. She's been playing you. Like, I've been trying to warn. Like, I don't know, maybe something.
Or what if she made a deal, like if Rubina and Chemo just like in everyday conversation while they're eating, not like just talk about how incredible Chelsea is at this game.
Yeah,
Just keep
yeah,
like you don't even realize you're hosing her and putting a target on her back. Like, man, if I were to do this game over again, I would play it like Chelsea. Like you're just really
yeah,
good. That kind of
do
thing.
what
Just
do what
no.
Joseph was doing to Chelsea, but to somebody else other than Chelsea.
yeah, yeah. See, Joseph was doing that unintentionally to Chelsea, which is the wrong person to do that to.
That idiot.
And he
Yeah,
was
Sash,
the funniest part. He was like, you and me, we're two peas in a pod, Chelsea. We get it. It's like,
Cut from that same cloth.
yeah, yeah, right. Like yeah. I think clearly, I think it's too late at this point, but I do think it's like, yeah, dude, and Uncle Shane, it's like if you make Chelsea, if you know Chelsea's a threat, make her known to be a threat. Like you won't win against Chelsea. I mean, I think the person who has the best chance is Mackenzie. Which did you guys find it funny that Chelsea was like, yeah, I want to see Yumi and repeat like the women for the final three, like not even taking Kent. That was kind of a shock, I thought.
well,
Well,
that's
they're
what
just saying,
Mackenzie said.
yeah, and she's just saying that to Rubina just to like chill her out.
But didn't Chelsea was saying that in the DR? No, she was like, I want to go
Chelsea,
to the end with Mackenzie.
Chelsea said in the DR that she wants to take Mackenzie to the end, which I know probably going up against Kim is a sure thing. I do think she makes a lot of great points with taking Mackenzie because she really has kind of controlled Mackenzie's HOHs,
Mm-hmm.
which will be, if she explains that to the jury, I feel like that would be even, I don't know if it's, I just think Cam is just so bad, like has done nothing that you can say anything that you did
Yeah,
and it would be good against Cam, but she really does have a lot of control over what Mackenzie's done.
yeah,
And she wins. Chelsea wins against everybody. But how great would it be if somehow Cam pulls out the win in the end when it's the three players and decides to take Mackenzie and not Chelsea?
That's
Because then,
like, that's his shot. That is his shot.
and it's like that because then he could just be like, I took out the best player and I have a relationship with her and I still took her ass out. That's how good and how I played this.
that would that would be unbelievable if that happened. That would be
It's basically
maybe
like when Cody took Derek to the end and he could have taken Victoria, but he was like, I'm just going to be a stand-up guy and take my boy to the end.
yeah,
He could have stabbed him in the back right at the end.
yeah. But imagine but that's like
That'd be great TV.
Victoria winning. That's like Victoria winning final three, and then uh
Yeah.
bringing Cody. It's like this person number one doesn't deserve to be here, but number two, like if Cam brought Mackenzie, that would be insane. Because that's still a possibility. I don't think that's going to happen, but can you imagine how fucking cold that would be?
But
Yeah.
but it's so smart. Like it would be like, oh, she would be devastated. She wouldn't even get America's favorite player because Tucker's got that sewn up.
Yeah, that would
Or
suck.
Angela.
No way.
I mean, I don't know.
America's most racist player.
Yeah, it's still like these next few weeks are going to be really, really fun. I
Who do
think
you guys want to be eliminated from the game at this point? It's going to be either Rubina or Chemo at this point, right? Because one of them is going to be on the block during eviction night.
I I
Chemo
want
I want chemo out.
I want chemo out too. I
Was
think
it the food? Was it the food that did it this week?
That didn't help. It didn't help.
I I just think Rubina has a better chance of winning this final HOH, which would be fun. Like to
Yeah.
get her, that would be a huge like that'd be fun to watch. And I think she has a better chance of doing that than chemo. And it's like I think Rubina has a chemo's a like cool guy, very nice. He's funny to watch, but Rubina has like a really like was in a big showmance that left, joined a trio that blew up, and it's like it would be cool to see her win the final and have the final say and stuff, or get to the final three. That'd be cool, but yeah, I don't know. I would like to see Rubina stay and win the HOH just to mix things up.
Do you know what I don't want to see is more Matlock commercials in between. It's like, dude, I'm so sick of the fucking Matlock commercials. Kathy Bates as an attorney, I'm not buying it.
Oh my god! You know what's so funny? I love Kathy Bates being like, "Hey, don't spoil. This is a spoiler. Don't spoil Matlock." It's like nobody's watching fucking Matlock. Nobody's spoiling Matlock. If somebody could tell me a spoiler for Matlock, I'd be like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
All right, guys. Well, this has been a fun week 11 recap. Big Brother is almost over. We've been doing this for almost 3 months now. Crazy. Time flies when you're having fun, guys.
Hell yeah.